Okay, to start out, I'm going to show you how to log in to the actual dashboard, and it's basically the exact same way you normally do it with the staff internet. So once you log in to that staff internet and we give you and assign you the specific permissions that allow you to edit pages, you'll notice that you'll have a lot more functionality. If we don't assign that to you, then it's just going to be as is right now, where you'll be able to just see your profile and you can change your imagery, your profile image and your bios and things like that for the forum. But if we do give you those new permissions, you'll see that you'll have those extra capabilities. So to log in, as most of you already know, you click Staff Login, and this is where you can type in your password. And I know I've been in talks with Kathy and some others to actually simplify this process. So as of right now, you're probably aware that the password that I assigned everyone is very long, and that's because we wanted to make sure the security was nailed down as much as possible. But after talking to everyone, I'm going to be looking into finding a way to shortening that. So at the very least, we'll be able to just it might be a random password still, but it'll be a lot less characters. And I'm working with Kathy right now to trying to make that to where it can be any password that you want moving forward. And then also one thing you probably noticed as well, for a little bit I was trying to have some type of CAPTCHA event on here. So it was the Google No CAPTCHA feature, where it got to be a little cumbersome because it would ask you to click on all the ice cream trucks that you see in the pictures, or click this picture or that picture, and it got to be a little too much. So moving forward, that's been completely removed. So to log in, here's just my test profile. And you'll see that it takes you right to the staff internet page, and this is where you can go about your daily business. But also, as most of you already know too, when you click on the welcome, and this is where your name is, this takes you to the back end of the site. And for most of you, when you come back here, you'll just see the profile section. And this, of course, is where you can upload your image and you can put your bio. And this is also where we can create a new password for yourself. But like I said, moving forward, that's not quite set up, but I'll make sure very quickly here that these passwords can be shortened for everyone. But in this case, I've assigned specific pages to this profile just for the sake of this demo. And you'll see that you'll have pages over here, and this is where all the pages live that you're able to edit. So if I click on that, in this case, here's all the pages that my test profile is able to edit. And these are all assigned specifically based on different programs. So there's a whole technical list of things that we can allow you to have permissions for. It's creating new pages, deleting pages, adding media, tons of different things, all the way up to the admin level for WordPress. So these are all the pages that this current one can edit. To add new, you can click right here. There's a few different areas. You can click Add New. You can click Add New here. You can also see a tree view, which is helpful if you have a lot of different pages. In this case, it's not pulling in, but if you were to have a ton of pages, it would be more of like a tree drop-down menu, where you would see a parent page, and then you'd see all the pages underneath that, and it's just kind of a better view to list those pages. And then also in this case, we have the calendars. So the calendar events, which I'll get into in a later video, are actually separate from the pages, but they do function in a similar way. So if I click back onto all pages, you'll see there's some good information here. It'll show who created these pages and when it was published. Another good way to sift through a lot of these pages is you can sift through dates. There's a search right here as well, and you can pull up some things like that if your program has a ton of pages. And then if you hover over each page, if I click View, it will show the front facing side of that page. If I click Quick Edit, it allows you to do some quick things right here on the fly if you want to do some bulk editing, such as renaming the titles, renaming the slug, which is the actual part of the URL that shows up on the front facing side. You can change the date that it was published, the author, you can add a password to it, and then the different templates, which I'll get into. So this is just for quick edits, but if you want to dive deeper into an actual page, you would click the edit button. And this is where all the vital information lives for this particular page. And in this case, there isn't much to show. Let me pick a different page so you can see all the different content. Okay, so yeah, you can see this has much more information that we can go through as I quickly go over this. Okay, so the very first thing you see up at the top is this is the page title. So this is whatever you call this page, this is what's going to be showing up on the front-facing side of this page. So in this case, it says e-learning. And you'll see this is the page title that shows up right here. And then underneath that, I'll get into this in a little bit, but this is different ways we can set up a table of contents on the page. So this ties into, there's a lot of different ways you can have the page visually appear. And it's going to depend on how you want that page to function and on what type of template you're going to pick over here in the corner. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Underneath that is just the text editor. So this is where you're able to type all the different content. This is what's called the kitchen sink right here. So this is how you format all your text, by highlighting it. It functions a lot in similar ways as Microsoft Word or any type of Office or Word program. So if you were to highlight anything and click on these buttons, you'll see that it starts to take place. This is italicized. This is strike through. Anything you're hovering over here, it will show up and explain to you what's kind of going on here. You can align things left, center, right. These little chain links are how to create new links. This is a read more tag. This isn't really going to apply to us. This is more if we're using this for like a blogging platform and you wanted to have an excerpt. Full screen is just an easy way for you to kind of see everything in a bigger fashion. You'll see everything still up here at the top. And this kind of allows you to just see everything from a higher view. And then the toggle bar is actually an addition to the kitchen sink. So when you toggle this, it just gives you more values, which are very important, which we can go through as well. So for example, you can highlight a block of text and you can tell it to be a paragraph, or you can tell it to be a large header. And by doing that, what you're really doing is you're just inserting HTML all around the words that you need. So it quickly formats it into HTML for you. And the rest of these things I don't typically use too much, but if you'd like to indent or anything like that, you can do that as well. And then over here to the right, this is just kind of the information that pertains to this page. So the status of this page is currently published because I am looking at a live page. If I were to click edit here, you'll see I can revert this page back into a draft or pending review if I needed to have it be approved by someone in admin. Or let's say you're not quite ready to publish it and this was a new page, you would keep it as a draft. And also, this is another area where you can publish a draft, but it doesn't necessarily have to be public front-facing for the internet to see. You could also make it private, which means only people who are logged in are able to see this site. And I guess in a way that's pretty similar to a draft. And then also password protect is another way where people can see the front-facing side of the page, but the content itself will be behind a text input field, and someone will need to enter a password in order to see that. It'd be just one general password for all users, but that's good for people who you just want a specific group of users to see something coming from the public. And then underneath that, we have what's called the page attributes. The page attributes allows you to assign this page to a parent page if you'd like. So in this case, maybe you want to have, these are all the pages that are listed that we've ever created. So if you wanted it to be under Tribal Star as the main page, you can do that as well. By doing that, what you're doing is you're structuring these pages. You'll see it says parent page right here. It helps just kind of organize what you're doing. And that's also what these dashes mean here. Every time you have a dash, you've dropped it down into another level within the hierarchy. And then underneath that, this is where all the templates live. So all of the templates really determines how you're going to have this page act and function. And I'll go into that a little deeper once we talk about creating a new page. It'll make more sense. But when I click on this, here's all the page templates that I use to portray content on the website. So sometimes I need a unique template for all staff. And what that means is I have a whole directory set up for staff members, and I have pictures and bios, and that's pulling in a unique template that's just related to the staff. Or I have the FAQs, and that really helps you set up a template where there's questions and answers. But I think in this case, for everyone that's going to be editing things, most of the time you're going to be using this basic inner page. And what that's going to do, it just allows you to have just one big block of text if you like, but it also allows you to do a table of contents. And let me see if I can just pull up table of contents real quick as an example. Yeah, so this is a good example of a table of contents page. So you can have like an intro paragraph above the table of contents if you'd like, but underneath that, here's a list of anchor points is basically what these are. And as you're creating these sections of text and content, they're actually linked to these links up here. So when I click accessing an e-learning, it scrolls you down to this section. And then once you're in these sections here, you can add whatever you want. You can add images, links, all of that stuff, YouTube videos, everything like that. So, and also if you don't want to use the table of contents template, you can just use a basic long page where you're just formatting something like you would like a Word doc. So I think most of the time, like I was saying, everyone's going to be using something along those lines.